In America, there's a burglary every 11 seconds, and an armed robbery every 65 seconds, a violent crime every 25 seconds, a murder every
You could probably just talk normal and pinch your nose and you'd still get the same
every
effect.
24 minutes, and 250 rapes a day.
Welcome back to Should You Watch This with the Popcorn Priest, a weekly podcast where movie enthusiasts, ex-movie theater projectionists, new and old friends take the time to talk about a movie that we just watched and answer that very question, should or shouldn't you watch this? I want to extend
Silence.
what was that gun we called last week? The Tacky Macky?
The Jatomatic.
The Jatomatic.
The Gatomatic.
The Gatomatic. Welcome to my longtime guests and hosts of the show, Rain Rap Marines and Noble Gas Tribe. Welcome back. Society is breeding a new kind of criminal.
That's right.
It's also breeding a new kind of cop. Cobretti, or Cobra from 1986 is next.
Society is breeding a new kind of criminal.
Yes.
It's also breeding a new kind of cop. Meet Cobra. He does the job nobody wants.
Correct. It's a little longer. Wanted to let it breathe.
Did you use unnecessary deadly force?
I used everything I had.
Do you know you have an attitude problem?
Yeah, but it's just a little one.
It's a little one.
You think you would recognize me if you saw me again?
The tall one?
Yeah. The one that wants to kill you.
Do what you have to do to get a lead on this maniac.
And if I find him?
Do what you do best.
Oh, I love those 80s gun.
Stallone is Cobra. The strong arm of the law.
I just wish I had that music when I just walked into a room or maybe like come into a meeting on Zoom. That was my like intro music.
Back when you could set your own ringtones.
That would be so cool. Well, we're back for part 2 of Cobra from 1986. Let's jump right into trivia.
I mean, first of all, no, this will have to wait for mysteries. So carry on.
All right, yeah. It's actually called Popcorn Puzzles. Popcorn Puzzles.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's get into trivia first.
Let me tell you something, pendejo.
All right, I've got 4 or 5 trivia points that I thought were kind of cool. Granted, I hadn't seen this, and you know what's funny? We brought it up earlier last week that you can't really spoil this movie, and I read like 90 trivia things and different articles. Didn't spoil anything.
No, you can't.
It was awesome.
Can't be done.
But Brian Thompson, he's the night slasher, had to buy his own ticket to see the film himself personally because he was not invited to the film's premiere by the producers.
I wonder if he was he like a method actor who was really difficult to work with?
I mean, I don't know, but what?
Just like all raged up like the entire time, so the producers hated him.
It's like that scene from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where what's her name goes to the...
she goes to go see her own movie.
I'm in the movie.
Like, that's nice, dear.
Peon, I'm on this.
Brian's like, I want to see the movie. His voice is really deep.
I felt like they modulated it, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, I think he was just
He could have just been doing like an affect.
I think he was trying to sound more menacing, but about as threatening as he could come off.
I thought this was funny.
I gotta randomly cut myself with this knife to look.
No, he was
hinged.
testing its sharpness.
Yeah, to make him seem unhinged, like he's so...
No, it's the only way he could know.
Exactly. That's the way the most violent man would test it, by cutting himself.
Stallone's notorious for like...
being a dick.
just muscling his way into the script. And
like just taking over the project. Yeah.
At one point during filming, Sly complained to cinematographer Rick Waite that they were falling behind and said he and his crew needed to work harder. Waite responded by saying that if Stallone gets his hands off Brigitte's ass and stops showing off to his bodyguards, maybe they wouldn't have problems with the timing.
Hell yeah.
Stallone was shocked that somebody would talk to him that way. But he toned down his ego for a few weeks. And in an interview, Waite also said that Stallone had a great sense of humor, despite his huge ego. He also confirmed a rumor that Stallone was the true director of the film, calling credited director George B. Cosmatos a good producer, but a bad director.
Ooh, burn.
Jeez.
I'm going to hire this guy that's worked for me before and call him shit.
I mean, Sly's kind of like...
that doesn't really shock. Hearing that he was like essentially the director, I was like, I believe it.
I believe it 100%.
Because like that's kind of the difference between like this and Commandos. Commandos like early in Arnold's career, whereas this
and
is like,
didn't do well. It was like 30th on the box office.
This is after Rambo and Rocky, so he's a bigger star at this point.
This is him.
So it is funny to
make
your Commando this late after you've already kind of shut off.
Yeah,
it's amazing though. Like it's so bad.
Yeah,
it's
I love
trying to compete so hard that it becomes its own masterpiece.
It's amazing.
Here's another thing about Stallone. So during the final confrontation fight with Brian Thompson, Stallone accidentally hit Thompson in the jaw with the butt of the gun he was holding and left him dazed and groggy. The stunt crew, led by Terry Leonard and Thompson's stunt double, huddled around Thompson to hide the fact that he had been really hurt. Thompson ended up with a bruise on his right cheek that hurt for many days of the shoot.
Dang.
That's the job, man.
Yeah.
You gotta bleed for art.
Mm-hmm. Gotta pretend not to let it phase you.
Also, this trivia point is so sick to me because I listen to it all the time, but the Stan Bush song, The Touch, from the Transformers movie, the animated movie, was originally written for this film.
Oh, yeah.
You got the touch.
That would have been so good.
That would have been
It would have fit right in.
Wait, what happened?
They just didn't use it. They used all the other bangers that are in there.
I mean, what power does he have besides the power to waste crime?
You can only light the film on fire for so much.
This is kind of a beef, but I left it in trivia because the Canon logo does not appear anywhere during the film's opening or closing credits.
Yeah, I thought maybe you were making that up because I was like, what Canon?
It is a Canon film, and it's not on any publicity materials either. The film ends like a traditional Canon film with the film's title frozen in the middle of the screen after the credits have stopped rolling, but does not have the usual Canon logo, which is sick. Golan Globus, those are the guys' names, received only an on-screen production credit for the movie, reportedly because it was primarily a Warner Brothers production that gave them a producer credit in return for voiding a prior agreement that Canon Group had with Stallone. And I know that they also made Over the Top with Stallone, and he was kind of like, he had to make that.
That was the second half of the agreement, which was a very bad idea.
Yeah.
I've never seen Over the Top. It sounds amazing.
I'm going to stand by it that it's horrible, but also awesome, just like this film. And as a young kid, that was a movie I could watch because it's PG-13.
Isn't there a kid in it? Like,
yeah.
It's like, so it was like you were Stallone's son.
Correct. I lived as his son for two hours.
Going truck roading and doing arm wrestling contests.
And I've mentioned this multiple.
What in the hell's the movie about? I've never even heard of it.
It's art. That's it.
No, that's it.
What he just said. What Taylor just said. That's how. I just watched it with my son, and he thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Hawk is determined to win back his son and triumph to the World Arm Wrestling Championship.
It's so good.
Man, this is going to make $200 million.
Like, if you can wade through the first 45 minutes, the last 30 minutes are some of the best sports like editing of all time.
There's heart to be had within the film.
So good. But I've mentioned this multiple times on the pod, and I'm going to keep doing this until I die. Please go buy the 4K Total Recall film, because in the special features, there's a documentary about Canon films. One of the best, if you love movies at all and you want to know about this crazy time and these crazy producers, from European producers.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's unbelievable and so cool. I can't remember the title of it. It's like Canon, I don't know, some colon, and then they're like a title, but it's the really great documentary about Canon Films.
Electric Boogaloo.
Correct.
The Wild Untold Story of Canon Films.
There you go. That's the one you should
Did they make the Electric Boogaloo?
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's great.
92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Just FYI, there's a lot of nudity. Weird nudity. Just weird stuff in there, okay?
They're bringing their European ideas.
It is wild. So if you want some weird stuff, go check out that documentary. It's very good. Speaking of like logos and stuff, the opening credits font is identical to the one that had been used for Rambo, the Rambo logo for the previous year, and would forevermore be associated with that series. I'm a designer, so I thought that was interesting.
I didn't catch that, but I mean, that just furthers my question. Why didn't this become his third pillar, his cop pillar?
Yeah. Almost like a Dirty Harry franchise.
Yeah, it was exactly. It's like you got your soldier franchise.
Correct.
You've got your working everyday man sports guy Rocky franchise.
Overcoming all.
Cop franchise. I mean, you think about it, Demolition Man is like you could view it as a sequel to this.
In the future.
If he was frozen and woke up.
Yeah, he got frozen when crime got so bad that he went to the future. So, I mean, you could think...
Why didn't they call him Cobretti?
And maybe his wife and daughter, maybe it was Brigitte. Who knows?
I mean, we know, but he was with her intimately at the motel.
Yeah. It's just, that's all you need.
Okay. Well, that's all the trivia I have. Do you guys want to get into beefs?
Sure.
How can you have beefs?
Where's the beef? Hey, where's the beef?
See, that's time it applies because there is no beef.
Yeah.
I have a couple of I moved a couple of trivia points into beefs, but for the Night Slasher's monologue in the final confrontation with Cobra, Brian Thompson did the scene with a script girl because Sly was off watching a basketball game.
So sick.
So my beef is
true dedication to his craft.
With Sly, it's like he just doesn't give any craps about anybody.
No, he's like, well, I gotta be there. He's not even talking to me.
Well, I love how this became his like personal pet project, and he doesn't even care enough to show up or like interact with anybody else.
That does rule. That rules so much.
I don't know if this is true either, but none of the supporting cast or crew were allowed to speak to Sly during filming.
I'm sure that was Stallone's guards keeping.
I'm curious. He would have been a big enough star by then that maybe he didn't want like people asking for autographs. So maybe there was like a level of employee like on the set that they...
Yeah, but they're just cast and crew. You're just making a movie together. You're all on part of the team.
Yeah,
why can't he just say hi to a couple people?
He's too big of a star, man.
He's got too much to do.
It's a beef. It's a minor beef. I like that he's that way, but I also
imagine that he's this great guy.
People without egos don't make it that far in Hollywood.
So apparently this affected Brian Thompson's relationship with Sly. They hadn't spoken for 20 years after the film was made until they recently met at a horse riding academy where Thompson's daughter was actually giving Stallone's daughter riding lessons.
I hope she failed her.
Beautiful stuff. That's like some insular Hollywood nonsense.
I think my daddy worked with your daddy, but now we're richer, so show me how to ride.
Yeah, what did that other guy go off to do?
Brian Thompson?
Yeah.
I don't know. The sunken face competition? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that character actor face, so I mean, I bet he found plenty of work, but it's just like, I don't know what movies he was been in, but...
Mainly villains, probably.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like maybe he's like crime of the week, like...
Got typecast.
He's got a face for villains.
Yeah.
The evil German terrorist.
Which, I mean, I feel like he was maybe playing it up. It looked like he was always straining it, like to make his face look more like...
Make himself look more menacing.
Yeah.
Universal Soldier background character number 3.
Yeah, he kind of does look like a light Dolph Lundgren. Yeah.
Well, I was going to include this in beefs, but initially when I did the research, there was about 40 minutes cut out of this movie, 30 to 40 minutes cut out of the movie. And I was beefing because I wanted more, but I really don't. I think an hour 27 is perfect for this film.
Yeah, it's like, I have to wonder, what would that have been?
I just want to know, I'm curious if there was more backstory or like details about the evil cult.
But do you need that? I don't think you do.
I actually have why they cut out the stuff, and I want to reveal it in puzzles.
Okay.
So let's move to popcorn puzzles.
Because that is a puzzle. But not really.
A sphincter says what? What? A sphincter says what? What? Exactly.
Okay, here's a puzzle solved for you, Mr. Tribe.
All right.
Some of the cuts made were to avoid an X rating.
Really?
That seems really
I don't think
graphic.
they had 40 minutes of that.
So here's what hit the cutting room floor.
All right.
The first murder victim, she had her hands severed and then multiple stabs that were... It cut
It did
right away.
Feel that way during a lot of the violent scenes that it was gloves off. Like, yeah, the gloves were on.
Yeah, like they had filmed it and then didn't show it.
Especially when she gets attacked in the parking garage because it cuts away from that photographer.
A lot of like TV edit stuff where it doesn't really change anything, but it like just has like it edits it.
You really have to think about
like half a second early.
Yeah, the process as to what's happening.
Apparently there was more extended scenes of the autopsy, including lingering shots of naked and mutilated bodies.
Very important for the plot.
Yeah. With that.
There was another longer death scene for Ingrid's photographer, Dan, including a shot of him slipping on his own blood while trying to escape.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he's just gone.
He disappears.
No, it's pretty clear that he gets axed.
Well, yeah, but apparently there was a lot more
there was,
to it.
They made it more of like a Friday the 13th sequence.
There were much more homicides of the townspeople during the climax, including a person getting struck in the face with an axe, like directly in the face.
I don't think you need that. It's distracting.
Yeah. So that's the reason. Puzzle solved.
That can't be 40 minutes of that, though. There has to be some subplot that they cut out.
I'm sure there's more like action scenes or chase scenes that they probably got rid of to tone or just improve the pacing.
Here's the second part of that puzzle. A very rare work print of the movie has circulated among fans.
I looked for it. I tried to find that yesterday.
Really?
Uh-huh.
So although most copies are poor quality, as 30 to 40 minutes, not available in any other version, it also has all the X-rated material removed from the final release. So somewhere out there is a Cobra with a lot more stuff.
Yeah, I feel maybe it's not enough of a cult classic to get like a special. That seems like something you would do like an anniversary release of like, yeah.
And then,
but then I mean,
and Stallone was a dick.
It has to be bad, right? Like it has to make it like way worse.
Would you feel like it was more on the vein of the Reanimator, where it's just glutton for
I think it may have like a more extended romantic subplot. That's my suspicion.
No, we already know it was just a bunch of murderous stuff cut out.
I don't buy it. 40 minutes of murderous, but no.
I'm thinking there was more like action stuff that was probably taken out because it seems
you
like
mean like action, like lengthy action sequences,
like him coming after the cult or the cult like going after more people.
I guess.
Like them getting close because
car chase could last longer.
Taylor has a point there because if you watch the Canon documentary, most of the movies they made were like softcore porn. So maybe there was some X-rated stuff in there.
Maybe. I don't know.
With the relationship.
Well, or what did the cinematographer mean with his comment about his hands on her butt? Like, are they actually filming more?
Yeah, it's like, was there a love scene in this? Because there's not in this. It's like a TV edit. Like,
was there more
like the TV
porn?
edit of Terminator or something where it just kind of cuts to the end and you're like, yeah, okay.
But like a few minutes here and a few minutes there, like extended scenes add up.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it suffers from not having that extra 40 minutes because it becomes, it's like a sauce where you've reduced it down to its flavor.
He doesn't think much about
the purest flavor.
He's just medicine curing the disease. So like it's just straightforward thought. So I mean, it basically just keeps you on path with him.
That longer cut
just shooting at people coming
too
at him.
Watery. You had to leave it on. You had to leave it to simmer and get pure flavor.
You don't need a lot, just a little bit on top because it's pure flavor.
Yeah, it's pure flavor, which is why 90 minutes is all you want.
If you take out all the comedy and
it's less than 90,
upbeat, like Beverly Hills Cop would have been, then you're left with 87 minutes of just straight violence and like brooding music straight out of Halloween.
Yeah.
Man, it did feel, there are a lot of scenes that did feel a lot like a horror, like an 80s.
Yeah, no, it has like
that
slasher
weird
film.
Synthesizer. Yes, like you're waiting to get stabbed by Jason around every corner.
And there was a couple of jump scenes that were, you knew were coming, and that's what happened.
Yeah,
those slasher movies.
Yeah, even in his
like
apartment.
hearing that they cut out like where the guy's running and slipping on his own blood. That just seems like a Friday the 13th thing where he's like has been disemboweled and trying to run away.
It's Stallone stuck in that Rambo mindset. Like they got to die horribly so he can look even better when he shoots him in the face.
Well, they call themselves the Slashers. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
It's literally that.
It's awesome.
So funny. Just the most thinly.
They needed a
motivated
longer
villain.
opening title of clanging those axes together.
So,
I bet
like,
there was 10 minutes of
So
that
this
cut
is
out.
based on a book. Is the book anything like this?
I don't know. That's something that I would like to give you some homework.
Yeah,
Please go read this.
Go do some research. See if it's like First Blood.
Yeah. Okay, I have 2 more puzzles. Here's another one that's along the same lines of how Stallone was kind of a douche. So, and also, this is also about the director. So when Sly was not on set, George Cosmatos acted like a tyrannical person to the cast and crew, which rubbed many people the wrong way, including Brian Thompson, the main villain. Cosmatos said to him, quote, "If you had listened to me, you would have had a better performance," which he didn't take too kindly to. Thompson referred to him as a pale chain smoker. Cosmatos would just agree with Stallone with everything he wanted to do and stay out of his way.
I'm sure it was an easy paycheck for George. He just had to hang around for advice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he had a lot to do with the chase scene, like the car scenes. He's a good director for that kind of stuff. So here's the last puzzle I have. And then I want, you said you had a...
Yeah, I have a puzzle.
Okay. So here's my puzzle. There are 3 video game adaptions of this film.
Wow.
I have never heard of them, so that sounds great.
And they all have very similar gameplay and levels. Only the Amstrad version, I don't know, is that a gaming console, Amstrad?
It could have been some, well, because there's a whole bunch of stuff in the 80s where it was like just a computer they were selling.
Stuff popped up for a couple of years. That
There's all sorts of weird stuff.
So apparently the Amstrad version has an actual complete ending with Ingrid and Cobretti leaving the Steelworks after the confrontation with the slasher. The Commodore 64 and the Spectrum versions just loop back to the first level after the Steelworks section has been completed. So you don't even get a finale.
Yeah, those games are weird. Like I have never played any of them, but you see them online. You're like, wow, man.
Yeah, they're
like loading from like these weird big floppy disks. And it's weird that it didn't get, well, I guess maybe not, that there's not like a Super Nintendo or a Nintendo Cobra game.
I mean, if you look at Rambo, there was so much. I mean, they were pandering to me as an 11-year-old.
That G.I. Joe cartoon.
They had the Rambo cartoon. I still to this day have Rambo toys. That I bought.
That is crazy.
And they're celebrating an R-rated.
So now that you mention it, there should have been. I guess the only reason there wasn't, it wasn't a big enough hit, I guess.
I don't know. What were your puzzles?
The pizza and the scissors. What's going on there?
Cuts off
What's
a
the
tiny
point of
little
that?
piece of morsel.
That was a weird moment.
It's like I guess it's supposed to be like a character development thing where you're like, oh, he's weird, but it's like that's
how much time he devotes to crime is he doesn't even eat properly. He doesn't have time for proper calories because the bad guys are so out in force.
It was only a single slice of pizza. It was in the freezer.
Yeah, where he brought also a packet of eggs.
Yeah, they had his gun oil and cleaning brushes.
Correct. In the egg carton were his.
But then he
brushes.
only cuts off a piece of the pizza. What's going on there?
Yeah, Sly grab it by the crust like every human being and eat it.
Maybe that's just because he's like so Italian that's.
It was very long and deliberate. Like
this will show that he's weird.
I'm gonna grab these scissors and then cut the tip of the pizza off and eat it.
What's going on there?
Yeah, that's
it's
a great puzzle.
They never follow up on it. It's not like he's got like a quirk where he's like a picky eater that never comes up again.
Correct.
So it's just this mystery.
It does. It does in a way, because then when they're at the restaurant, he realizes she's a picky eater with all the ketchup on the fries. He realizes she's the one.
Never mind.
Because she also eats weird snacks like he does.
Maybe that's
meant
mystery
to be
solved, and that's why he stops being so like cold and stoic.
That's why she's like, get over here into this bed with me after you're done cleaning that submachine gun, because you need to clean something else.
Maybe this movie's smarter than we think it is.
That was the only way they connected was weird food eating.
He picked up the weird hamburger to try and make
a joke,
charm her. her, and
Yep,
it backfired horribly.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, what else would they have in common?
I mean, apparently a half a bottle of ketchup.
Yeah.
Because she's
victims' rights. Like she deserves because she was almost murdered.
They both believe that victims have rights.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like there was 2 or 3 very close-up shots of the fries and
Oh no, they
ketchup.
emphasize
Well,
it.
and
So
then-
maybe that is it.
The entire first 2 minutes of that scene, she's got her hand squeezing that bottle like she's giving blood.
That makes me
squeezing
wonder
the
if
ball.
it's like a detail from the book that they just ended up in the screenplay,
So
even though
weird.
they didn't know to put much emphasis on it. I don't know.
Otherwise, she couldn't have been credited for the work because he would have written too much out of the damn original story.
Oh man!
But yeah, maybe that is it.
With
Yeah.
supplemental material by Pauline.
It's like, if she's gonna be with me, she's gotta be a little bit crazy.
Which in 86 means too much
It's
ketchup.
like, she eats weird. I think this dame's for me.
I bet you pick some meat out of the bun.
Is there any other puzzles that you guys had?
No, I don't think so.
I had a small puzzle. They keep showing these guys banging axes and stuff. And we kind of went over it with the reviews last week, but
Man, it really.
Are you just saying like the shooter guy? Why did it cut to the axes when he was doing his shooting?
Well-
I think it was to make the connection that he was with them. That's all I can figure.
well, I guess that's part of the layer of puzzle, but also they just keep talking about the new world order.
Yeah.
And they don't really talk about like their motivation, like
'Cause
nothing.
They're going to destroy the weak.
They're just
so that
evil.
the strong may thrive.
Oh man, it's so stupid. But anyway.
Well, I mean, what was that one?
It's the rise of the Turner Diaries in the mid 80s, right
It's
there.
it's like it's funny that they don't have any ideology because it reminded me of that Dirty Harry with like the gang
Yeah,
of
a
like
lot.
veterans, I guess. But like they also never really said like it's like we're just.
a lot more. There was a lot more.
I mean, you can put it together like that they would be like like anarchist types, but
You don't have to
these
reach
people
that
are
far.
just kind of mentally ill.
These people are just bikers on meth that have had like, way too much free time.
I mean, yeah, it is a lot of the like the 80s like vision of crime where it's like these people have no soul. They're servants of Satan.
they played Dungeons and Dragons and now they've wound up here.
Yeah, they're ontologically evil.
This is why we need people like Reagan in office.
Yep, that's right.
they did show Reagan's picture in
Yeah,
there.
that's what I mean.
I thought
prominently.
maybe I thought for a second that was his house, but then he said that it was like like the
They were at
station.
the
I'm
station.
like, oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
why it's
I mean,
there.
it makes sense.
It would have been way funnier if he just had
We need something to show that they're
Reagan in
strong
his
on
house.
crime.
It's like this is yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, you ready to move on to our last category, popcorn redemption?
It needs
Yes.
no redeeming.
Yeah, what do you mean?
I already feel redeemed in watching this movie.
Popcorn redemption.
I have exorcised the demons.
I just pulled out 3 things that kind of, for me, made the essence of why I like this movie now that I've seen it for the first time. Because I've gone through, I mean, Stallone is featured amongst many films that I've reviewed.
He's on the Rushmore, Mount Rushmore.
He is.
Stallone.
So one thing that I liked is Cobra is noted for being one of the first movies, along with First Blood, in which a knife is considered a significant character in the film. In First Blood, Stallone commissioned the distinctive survival knife made by the legendary Arkansas bladesmith Jimmy LaLay, even though it's actually pronounced Jimmy Lyle. It's a callback to my Rambo pods. And started a massive craze among outdoorsmen and survivalists who bought and used large blades with tubular handles to contain survival equipment.
That wasn't a thing before Rambo?
No.
That's
It worked so well that he repeated it and had another similar knife made again by Lyle for Rambo First Blood Part 2 and for all other entries in the John Rambo's franchise. Between the Rambo franchise and Cobra, Stallone single-handedly helped grow the hobby of knife making in America by leaps and bounds and solidly established the role of the distinctive character-specific weapon as a branding method in film, and he has practiced this method for decades, including weapons he carried in The Expendables and Demolition Man.
Huh.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that he invented survival knives because, yeah, that's a pretty common thing where you've got like the matches, and,
Compass,
line,
books.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, I remember wanting one of those as a kid.
The other thing that I like, and we brought it up, well, you mentioned it, Taylor, is the fact that this is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
When we first see the commercial, when he's cutting pizza with the scissors, we see the Christmas commercial of Toys R Us.
Yeah.
And it just,
Jeffrey the Giraffe, a little animated little segment.
it brought me right away to like a holiday season.
Yeah.
It really makes me want to get scissors and see how easy it is to cut a pizza.
Well, it's frozen pizza, so maybe that's part of it.
That's a good point.
He must not have been super frozen because he took a bite out of it.
Well, but that's just showing he doesn't give.
Maybe it melted in his mouth. Yeah. It's thin crust.
He's so full of anger for crime that it heats up the pizza in his mouth.
All right. I wanted to bring up something that you said, Cole, while we were watching the movie. In 2017, Stallone used his Instagram page to post a picture of Cobretti standing next to the 1950 Mercury car with the caption, "Comeback or throwback."
To be a dick and to tease all those people for nothing.
Yeah, thousands of fans used this as the opportunity to lobby Stallone for a sequel or a director's cut Blu-ray film.
Yeah, I think you should do that. A sequel at this point, I think.
He's too old.
Yeah, that ship sailed.
Like, how would you even bring back Cobretti as a 60-year-old? Like,
I say just do a little fan canon. The Demolition Man's the sequel.
Yeah. Any other redemption for you guys? That's all I have.
No, I don't think it needs redeeming. Again, it's like a sauce that's been distilled down to its like pure essence.
I like that.
It's just pure flavor.
Pure evil, just pure action.
If it were like 2 hours of that, which makes me curious what that extra 40 minutes is. If it were like 2 hours of that, that might be a bit too much.
I agree. I actually agree. That's what I was saying earlier.
What it is, 90 minutes, it's like, it's pure.
And to be honest, that poster
is so sick. It's so sick.
It was on the walls of many movies, even Beverly Hills Cop, the last Axel F movie. It's on there, on the wall in there.
So good.
Like, I want it right now. For sure I'm gonna buy it.
Now I have to look it up because
it's where he's like got the glasses on,
the glass and the laser
like a Grand Theft Auto
and his
cover
like,
case.
And he's got the submachine gun like pointed up. It's good. It's so good,
and it's red.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a great poster.
Oh, that is a very 80s poster. Holy crap.
It's really so good.
Great. All right, let's get into our rating.
All right.
I think you guys need to go first.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's like I said that I recommended Commando without prefacing it to a coworker.
I remember that.
But it's like, it's like, oh yeah, you needed like to be aware. It's like, well, there's levels of irony to it.
There's levels.
I'm not saying that it's like
Shakespeare.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for what it is. It's amazing. You have to meet it on its level, though.
A movie so bad that it amazes you that you want to watch.
I mean,
it
it's kind of like
very rare feat.
It's kind of like like how action movies. I've always said they're like the rom-com for guys, like where you can have elements where they try to create some crossover appeal. This does not do that.
There's none of that.
As a very specific
like they'll do that
audience.
in rom-coms. We'll have like a really funny actor in it to like make it more palatable. But this is the version where it's just like, no, this is not for people who don't like these.
Well, and that's why I brought it up last week with the reviews where that guy's like, I love this movie, but I've never told anyone that I love it.
I have never recommended it. It's like, you would need to know the person.
Got Cobra hidden in my closet and I don't pull it out for anyone.
Yeah. So with that being said, what is your rating? That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. Like, I mean, no, it's a good amount of stars. Billion, maybe. Yeah.
A billion stars.
A billion.
Wow.
Not a trillion, but a billion.
A billion.
Because
it definitely makes up its own galaxy.
It's like an archetype, man. It's like it's a platonic ideal of what it's trying to be.
It's like if you take Last Action Hero and pull out all the comedy, that's what you get
forms that exist outside of our reality where they are perfect. That's what this is for that era and that type of movie. It's dumb, but it's great.
Well, plus there's so many comedy tropes like the guy that wants him to play by the book the entire movie, no matter how impossible it would seem.
Like,
well, there's a diplomatic approach here that you probably just didn't see, Cobra.
I mean, think of all the liners in this.
Oh, it's
you have
amazing.
a right to remain silent. It's so good.
Striking the match off his freaking Colt
The
gun in his
one-liners
waistband.
are elite in this movie.
I just love that he struck a match.
So
on
that's,
the
I mean, that's
slide of his gun.
the most similar thing. I mean, it's Commando, but I think it's better than Commando because Commando has
Commando draws.
Tommy Chong's daughter in it is the girl sidekick who is so annoying.
Mhm. Well, that one draws out too. It stretches.
I have to draw the line.
You don't think you're
Commando is better.
I don't think so.
Commando's better.
I would argue that this one's better, but I respect your point of view.
Commando's very close.
I would say that these are in the same. These are in a pantheon together.
Correct. I agree.
Cobra doesn't pretend to be anything else than what it is, whereas Commando actually tries to have somewhat of a decent story with like emotions and like drama.
I don't like the girl sidekick. She's too annoying.
There's
too
better
annoying.
violence in Commando.
Yes, that is true.
That siege
The
on
saw blade to
compound.
that guy's face.
If they trimmed down Commando, it would be as good as this.
It just needs tighter editing.
Again, get that girl out of there. There's no reason for her to be in it.
The helpless female sidekick
Yeah,
that
she's
keeps screwing
annoying.
things
She's
up.
like screaming. She shoots the rocket launcher backwards.
I don't mind her.
Which is a great bit. But
I don't mind her. And I love Alyssa Milano in it.
It's a good
I love
sidekick.
Cole brought up an interesting point that I should reveal right now. There are two films of Arnold's filmography that I've never seen. One of them is Last Action Hero.
What?
And the other one is Jingle All the Way.
You what?
I know.
yeah,
I
how'd
know.
you miss those?
The two biggest ones? Holy nuts.
They just didn't look very good, but everyone says I need to watch both of them.
Jingle All the Way, you're not missing much. Phil Hartman is amazing, but Last Action Hero is Shane Black like flipping everything on its head and giving you the most amazing backwards Hollywood and alternate reality.
Are they both kids' movies?
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way definitely is. I haven't seen Last Action Hero.
Last Action Hero is basically like 8 to 12-year-olds would love it just because
Yeah, Jingle All the Way is like
it's just toned down Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, it's Home Alone.
It's
vein
funny as heck,
holiday
though.
film.
I need to watch both of those.
And
That's homework.
Those are the only two you haven't seen?
Oh, the best is the Sylvester Stallone reference in Last Action Hero when they bring him up. It's awesome.
Well, I got some homework to do.
Yes, you do.
Cole, what's your rating?
I have 4 stars because
4 out of 4.
this is a movie.
That's not very often.
I mean, it's not good, but it's amazing.
But this is a movie you can watch in an Atmos theater, or you can turn on TNT late at night, post Christmas Eve, when you need something to fill the background noise, and it's entertaining. Either
there is
way.
a purity in its simplicity.
Before you know it, they're riding off into the sunset, and you feel sad that you don't get to watch any more of his adventures or follow his hijinks and wonder who he's going to kill with that machine gun next.
This is the hardest thing that I've had to do.
You need to take that laser pointer and focus it straight on your review as to this movie and how you feel.
It's just
Like my gut wants to say medium bucket,
it's like highly.
But what does the inner
distilled
10-year-old
alcohol.
you say?
but
So pure.
my heart,
That's the adult you.
my heart wants to say golden bucket.
I understand because you know that people might be like trying to have a track record to judge you by, and you feel that you would lead someone astray. I am free though. I am fine to lead these people astray,
And
I don't care anymore.
Everybody has their gluttonous cinema choice.
Just like when I said
doesn't matter.
that she should watch Commando at work, and she did, and she's like, "What was that?" And I'm like, "It was good."
I still can't believe you
Recommended Commando without it's like, no, it's good.
to a female coworker.
That's how you.
Awesome.
She watched it with her husband. I think her husband liked it.
Oh, I'm sure he did. If not, I need to take his man card.
That's the only way to approach that movie is not knowing what you're going in for.
All right, let me do this. I'll give it a large bucket. I'll split the
Yeah, okay.
I'll split the head with the axe.
No.
And I'll give it a large bucket.
No, what you could do is say that the adult you started out on a medium, but the child you upgraded to a large for a quarter more because
Yeah,
it was worth it
within
to
you
indulge.
there are 2 wolves.
Exactly.
Yes.
And these 2 wolves are eating popcorn this time, and you need
They're
a large
both
bucket.
eating popcorn and they're both loving this movie.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. I'm settling on a large bucket in the.
You know that if you saw that movie randomly pop up on TV now, you would instantly be focused for the next 86 minutes to watch what you thought was a fever dream.
If you
all
saw
over
that like
again.
opening robbery where he comes in and starts like spewing one-liners.
Cole has a really amazing point that if I had seen this when I was a youth and because I couldn't see it and I had to like see it on HBO or
Where it's
something.
like drugs.
And I'd be like, yeah, I probably would give this a golden bucket easily. Yeah. That's good. I like that.
It's just like seeing the first Lethal Weapon all over again for me.
Well, are there any parting thoughts for Cobra?
I mean,
this is kind of where Stallone started going downhill for.
I mean, it kind of is like it's because I mean, this is after
this is after Rocky and Rambo, and it started to kind of cool down and the violence in the 80s.
I like the path he went on. It's like everyone.
I do too.
Plenty of them are bad, but
Oh no, it's just it becomes an interesting roller coaster of up and down, and like the low lows, but then the really high highs.
Plenty of them are bad, but that's life.
Like the one that Arnold
tricked him into
making Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Yeah.
Hey, that movie's amazing. I love that shit.
I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah.
Oh, the scene where he's talking about what he had for breakfast is classic, and he's chugging Pepto-Bismol. It's awesome.
I mean, doesn't it have the lady from the Golden Girls in it?
That sounds
as the mom?
right. That sounds right. I don't know.
Yeah, the short, angry one with the white hair. I can't remember her name.
B. Arthur?
Yeah, that's her.
No, it's the other one.
Betty White.
No, it's the other one. B. Arthur is
She's the older one, the taller one.
Yeah, this is the short
one with the brown,
really older looking one.
This is not my wheelhouse. It
isn't either.
It's a fun it's a fun movie if you take it from a child's perspective. As an adult, you're probably annoyed as hell that you got to sit through that.
Well, it wouldn't be a Should You Watch This with Cole or Taylor if we didn't end on talking about Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Watch Cobra.
It's Stallone related.
90 minutes.
It is.
Or don't.
Yeah.
But you're lost.
But do.
It's less than 90 minutes, so you'll have 4 to spare.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, that's it for this week. But I'm with you always. I love movies and would love it if you share the love. Share this with the movie lover in your life. If you made it this far, please give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcast. I command thee. As always, thanks for listening. And thanks to my special guests, the ones who started it all and have not been on the show for 5 or 6 months. All my fault.
It's all my fault.
It's not your fault. It is Cole's fault.
It's my fault. It's usually my fault.
Dude, when you told me how you average 23 days
a month
out of the month you're on the road fixing.
Oh, it's more. It's
his ratio this year is insane.
Well, no, last year was like over 300. This year is under 300 so far, so it's not as crazy, but last year was awful.
See, we've got a guy on our show that's trying to make sure that you got projectors ready to watch movies.
Across the nation.
Watch Wicked.
And across the pond, too. You've been to Europe fixing projectors, too.
It's basically my whole job at this point is getting rid of Sony machines and installing anything else. Sonys are so crappy.
Well, I just want to say thanks again to my special guest, Product Placement Tribe.
That's right.
And his partner, Coors Light Marines.
Steam Deck.
Oh, we forgot that. That is so sick that he does that. He drinks the beer during the... Yeah.
That's why...
Watch this movie.
As always,
Pepsi
remember,
placement.
When you watch movies, you can pop off, pop in, or pop out, but always bring the popcorn.